Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to the Innovate Public School Community Action Meeting. We're calling this meeting, What is the Future of Redwood City? I hope you're excited to think about this important question this evening. I hope that everybody is excited to be with us tonight. I'm more than happy and more than excited to see a lot of new faces. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Redwood City, for the Fair Oaks Community Center as it provides a public venue for important community events like this. I'm Norma Becerra, and this is Pastor Lisette Rio, who will be chairing tonight's meeting. Our job is to make sure we stay on time and follow the planned agenda so we can all get the most out of this meeting.
And we're here tonight because we want Silicon Valley to be a place that puts children first. Many of us were here in this room 1 year ago asking our elected leaders to approve new schools to open in the Redwood City area. And we are so excited that they did. And KIPP and Rocket Ship schools are opening this fall. Aren't you excited about that? We're really excited about that. Tonight's event is also very unique because it brings together the city, the county, and the school district to talk about providing a good home for our new schools. And it is not just the school district's job to educate, and not just the city's job to manage police and fix the roads. And it's not just county's job to provide a safety net. Tonight's meeting is about the beauty of our country's democracy when those most affected by the issues that choose to participate and have opinions and ideas about how to change things. First, we will be sharing what we have learned about our education system and our city and sharing personal experiences. Then a number of our parents will ask some questions to our panelists. And this is a call to action for all of us to remember that kids who are the center of our hearts should also be at the center of the decisions that we make in Redwood City. And we know that as a city we are thriving, and let's make sure our children and low-income communities do too. I'm here tonight because I want the best for our kids and our community. Are you with me? Come in here with me. How many want the best for your community? Do you believe that every child deserves a great education? Yes. If you believe that, say yes with me. Yes. Yes. And do you want Redwood City to be a great community for all? Yes. Thank you. Let's move along. Norma.
Now, just a little about the rules this evening. First, please refrain from using your cell phones during the meeting. Secondly, I'm going to ask that we all please express the utmost respect. Secondly, I'm going to ask that we all please express the most respect. I'm just double repeating this because it's really important to remember this. To our guests and speakers tonight, clapping is great, but no signs of respect. We do not expect that we all in this room agree on everything, but we insist that our meeting be conducted with our core values of dignity, respect, and civility. We only have an hour and a half total, so we'll be following our tight agenda. We do not wish to surprise any of our honored guests, so we work with them beforehand, and they have all seen the agenda and questions. We will not have time for people to speak who are not on the agenda, so some of our guests might be available after the meeting if you would like to ask questions or share your comments. At the registration table, there's also comment questions and testimony box. We will be collecting them and sharing them with our guests as part of the follow-up over the next few weeks. The restrooms are in the hallway behind those doors over there to my right, and they're child care for little ones in classroom 4. We encourage you to keep your families and children here as part of the event, as we wish this to be a family event that is about them. Also, we have a timekeeper who will be helping to stick to our agenda. Our timekeeper is Carmina. Carmina, can you please wave your hand? This is Carmina. Finally, as the room reaches capacity, we'll be accommodating the overflow crowd in classroom 5 and 6 with a live video and audio on your program when the program is here. Back to you, Lisette.
I am Lisette Rio Guadalupe, and I am the mother of 2 children in the public school system. And I am blessed to serve as pastor of Kairos Ministries of the Church of God here in Redwood City. I live in East Palo Alto, and I have always had to commute to Redwood City for schools always striving for my kids to get the best of education. And even though they are now in high school and the last year of middle school, I wish now for our church community, is there people of our church community here, Kairos Ministries of the Church of God? Is there anybody here? If you're here, say amen. Those are people from our church community. We're glad to have them here. And as a pastor and a leader in this community, I wish for our church to also have and thrive in the best of education. And that's why we are here, Norma.
Thank you, Lisette. I'm Norma Becerra. I'm a volunteer parent leader with the Innovate Public Schools here in Redwood City. I have two amazing children who are present here somewhere over there. I grew up in Mexico, and education has always been a theme of great importance in my life. When I began to educate myself about schools options for my daughter, I often used the resource of the Great Schools website and realized that our neighborhood schools had a very low academic level. This deeply worried me. As I didn't want my children to be limited academically, I felt trapped. Then I found out through my church about the opportunity to bring other public schools options to Redwood City. I met the group of Innovate Public Schools parents, and I was honestly inspired and motivated by their leadership and boldness in fighting for what they believe in. That's when I applied for my daughter to attend camp, and I joined the parent group. Attending new schools, excellent schools, but also all those children or parents who, like me, want to feel empowered and having choice of and providing a great education to the children. We all have the power to seek for different options, and I'm so excited that all of us agree that education is the best thing for our children. Thank you.
As we move along in our agenda, I want to recognize a team of parents that have worked so hard to put this event together. If your name is on the slide, please stand up. If your name appears on the slide, if you're some of the parents that are working to make this meeting together. Last March, many of these same parent leaders put on their first community action meeting right here, and many of you may have even been there. 1 year later, our group is back to report our progress and to reflect on our victories and the lessons that we have learned along the way, and to continue calling for our ideals to become a reality. And we are not finished yet. We are not slowing down. Next, I want to recognize and I want to thank our local elected officials who are participating on our panel tonight. Please hold your applause until I've introduced everyone. Jeffrey G. Major of Redwood City, Warren Slocum, San Mateo County Supervisor, and Hillary Polson, Board Member for the Redwood City School District. We are so delighted that they're here sharing with us at our meeting tonight. Thank you for taking your time to share with us. We're excited about this meeting, and we know that we're going to be able to accomplish many things. I would like to take a note and thank. And I know that there were many conflicting schedules when we planned this meeting. And there is actually a school board meeting running right now tonight as we are here, which is why several of the school board members weren't able to be here. But I want to say a special thank you to both Trustee Hillary Polson and Deputy Superintendent John Baker for coming tonight. We want to know, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. We know that it is not a small deal to miss a board meeting. We'd also like to thank Catherine Rivera, the principal of John Gill Elementary School, where is she at? Thank you so much for being here. Our organization has been working with her and her staff and families this year to support her in the process of redesigning her school, John Gill, which I'm very excited about. My two children went there. We applaud her leadership in making decisions around challenging changes and listening deeply to the parents in her community. So we thank you so much, Catherine, for that. And I would also like to recognize and thank the other public officials that are here tonight. Thank you for your service. Ian Bain, the Redwood City Council member. As I call out your name, if you're there, you can raise your hand. We would like to recognize that you're here. Janet Borgens, Redwood City Planning Commissioner, right back there. Manuel Ramirez, San Mateo County Planning Commissioner. Might be somewhere around the building. Staff of Jerry Hill, California State Senator. and staff from the County of San Mateo and Redwood City. If you're here, let's give them a round of applause and thank them for being here with us tonight. We are also offering translation services, so if you need somebody to help you or you're kind of lost, you know, channel 1, okay? I am a pastor of a Spanish congregation, and I do believe Spanish is the language of heaven. But I'm not sure about that, but I have to say it for my congregation. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge some of the local congregations who've been incredibly supportive of our parent organization work, and without whom we wouldn't be here today. We want to thank the Kairos Ministries of the Church of God. The Kairos people, we thank you. We also want to thank the Verbo Church and also Sion Church here in Redwood City. We want to give them a round of applause for not only being spiritual leaders, but also working together with the community. We couldn't be able to do it without them. And thank you, everyone, tonight. This is what we all have been working toward, a vision of districts, of charter schools, of city and county government, community organizations, and families working together to bring an excellent education to our children. We know we can. Sí se puede. Can you say it with me? Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. We know that if our body is united, we could be able to do anything. I want to quickly share something with you. A part of faith. I just want to talk a little bit about the importance of community. I'm going to be very short. Just want to read Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 10. It says that 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their work. If one falls down, his friend can help him up, but pity the man who falls and has no one to help him up. Where one alone may overcome, 2 together can resist. I think we have more than 2 together here that are united, and a 3-ply cord is not easily broken. Humans long to be a part of something important, to connect with other people, to be known by someone. No matter one's status in life or their interests or your age or your religion or your faith, there is a desire of belonging to a community. There are literally millions of groups that one can become part of to fulfill this desire, whether it's a community for single mothers, for writers, for sewing groups, knitting, or computer geeks. There's always ways to connect with other people that have our similar interests. And for many families, it might be a church, it might be a synagogue, or a Catholic church, or any religious institution. And it's a great source of encouragement and strength that we can lean upon. That is a reason why a community is so powerful, because it's what gets us to follow the way that God called us to live, not in isolation, but in a relationship. Even though it may seem strange in a way, in a world that is so individualistic, we truly do need each other to grow. Look at the person right next to you and tell them, I need you to grow. You know, we need each other to be able to grow. You know, whether it doesn't matter what type of religion you're from, it even doesn't matter what country you come from, we all need each other to be able to grow. In a faith community, you're able to share your struggles, your strife, your prayers, your hope, and that's what we're looking for in Redwood City. I encourage you to be ready to rouse one another to love and to do good works. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 24. And as you stand shoulder to shoulder, we want to help each other grow. And as we work together, we want to see our children grow. How many of you want to see your children grow? We want to see them grow in knowledge. We want to see them grow in wisdom. We want to see them grow belonging to a community. We want to see them striving in education. We want to see them being the best that they can be. Then you will become a greater witness to this darkened and broken world. And as I close up, I just want to say this quick prayer. And if you can with me, however you want to do it, if you want to close your eyes, you can close it. If not, I don't mind. And I know God won't mind either. Lord Jesus, help me break down barriers within me that keep me isolated due to the busyness of this world. And help me to be focused, to not be focused only in my needs, but in the needs of others. Help me to live in fellowship with others and help me to realize how important we are to one another and the difference we can make in someone else's life. As we open our eyes to see the needs of others, and see how we can offer support and prayers so that we may grow together as a strong community. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
That was a beautiful reflection. That's for sure that we need one another, right? To work as a team, we need one another. In a couple marriage, you need one another. At work, you need one another. We need each other to make this world be a better place. Now we'll ask Innovate Public School parent leader Isabel Ocampo to present the work and research we have done in the last year.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Isabel Ocampo, and I am a parent of 2 girls that are going to Redwood City Schools in the present. I am a single mother and a student furthering my own education at Kenyatta College. And I'm a deeply faithful person involved in my Catholic church here in Redwood City. 2 years ago, we began organizing parents in the community and meeting with our school district and elected officials. We educate ourselves about the school system and local politics. We held meetings at people's houses, churches, and community centers, which many were facing in the school system, as well as excellent choices some parents already had, such as North Star Academy, located here in Redwood City. We wanted an excellent school like that too, a school where our children didn't need to have a test and pass it to get into the school. We had a strong vision and began collaborating with KIP and Rocket Ship, 2 schools that had excellent academic results, including with low-income Latino students. In June 2014, our dream came true when the Redwood City School District Board of Trustees voted unanimously to approve KIP and Rocket Ship. Thank you. But our work did not end that day. Now that the schools were approved, the question became, where will they have a home? Will they be located? So we decided to organize this action tonight because we feel urgency about answering this question and finishing the work we started. To get our question answered in the past year, we have conducted meetings with over 20 public officials about education and land use policy. We knew that KIP will be requesting facilities from the Redwood City School District and that Rocket Ship will be building a permanent site somewhere in or near North Fair Oaks, the county area of Redwood City. We also learned that there is a state law called Proposition 39. This allows charter schools to request facilities from school districts. This law says public school facilities should be shared fairly among all public school pupils, including those in charter schools. This means that all children have the right to a good school building, including charter school students. Under this law, KIP and Rocket Ship applied for and were both offered space in district buildings. We understand the spaces are still being worked out and nothing will be final until April 1st. And we thank our school district staff leaders for their work to find a space for both the schools. Thank you. We also understand that It's not always easy for an existing school to share space with a new school. But we thank the leadership of the staff of Kennedy, Taft, and Hoover for working with KIPP and Rocket Ship to find a way to temporarily house them. While several miles might not seem like a long distance, it can be challenging for some families to travel across town, especially if they have children at multiple schools. Many low-income families also have limited use of cars. This means that some families who apply to KIPP will not be able to attend this year if it's placed at Kennedy. But many of our families will be attending no matter what. So this is why we have been looking into our options for the transportation of students to KIPP at Kennedy. And we learned that the best option would probably be using Samtrans buses. There is already a Samtrans route that runs between Fair Oaks and Kennedy, but the schedule would needed to be extended to match up with KIPP's school day, which starts at 7:45 and goes all the way to 4 p.m. We believe this is very doable. We look forward to hearing our guests respond to this topic later on tonight. It continues to be our desire for both new schools to be located in the North Fair Oaks area or in the flatlands of Redwood City. This is where many of our families with the greatest need for school options and new opportunities live. So we look forward to continue working with KIPP and the district around finding a way for KIPP to be housed in this area. If it's not possible this year, then ideally in the coming years. From the start, Rocket Ship planned to build its own school. They have already bought land at the corner of Bay and Charter here in Redwood City. We expected that by now, Rocket Ship will start building their school so it could be open by August. But we have found the process around development and land use very complicated and longer than expected. It seems that our city's priorities are more driven towards economic and private development than public benefits like this school that we need so much in the city. We have met with the Redwood City Planning Division multiple times over the last 6 months. It is important to note that the Rocket Ship School is not only for low-income Latino people. It will also contribute to the community and the city overall. Some of our Innovate Parent leaders have spoken to businesses in the neighborhood, and they all have responded very positive. One business owner said that he supports more schools and believes that a school like this will be very good for our neighborhood. We're looking for increased collaboration by the city and county on this project, which is important to so many people. In February, KQED began a series about the new California gold rush that we're expecting here in Redwood City. As part of the Silicon Valley, Redwood City has played a big role in this huge technology boom. Every month, we hear about new expensive housing, companies, and private development, like Fox and Stanford. On the screen right there, you can see all the projects that are currently planned. The Stanford development alone will grow to 1.5 million square feet over the next 15 years, the size of 50 soccer fields. Right next door in Fair Oaks, rents are going up and families are working multiple low-paying jobs. They see no way out other than their children getting a solid education so they can one day compete for all these new jobs. But a recent Redwood City proposal to prohibit schools in the light industrial incubator area made us realize that the school that the city can do more to support education in new schools. A Bloomberg reports that the percentage of Hispanic employees at Yahoo, LinkedIn, and Facebook is only 4%. Apple does a little better at 11%, while Google and Twitter are all the way down to 3%, only 3%. A Latino manager at a local education technology startup told us that it's very lonely being a Latino in that world. As much as he tries to recruit people of color to this company, he has a very hard time. But on the other hand, one of the newest Redwood City buildings, our new county jail, down 101, will have the opposite problem. We estimate the new jail will likely be 50% Latino and African American inmates. Based on the following numbers, according to the most recent San Mateo County Adolescent Report, African Americans make up 24% of San Mateo jail's population, even though they only represent 3% of the county. Sadly, our Latinos make up 35% of the county's jail population and 50% of the juvenile felony arrests. This means that African Americans and Latino make up half of the county's entire jail population. These are very disturbing facts. But we intend to do our part to change them one step at a time. At Silicon Valley's lowest performance schools, 81% of the students are Latino and 78% are low income. Only 20% of Latinos graduate from the Sequoia Union High School District ready to go on to college. As you can see from that graph right there, most Latino students from Redwood City will not go to college if we continue down this path. Then in college, the graduation rate of Latino students in California is only around 50%. And we as a community and parents that care about our children, we cannot be satisfied with these numbers, because these numbers are our children, our brothers and sisters. Okay, thank you.
You might have been saddened to hear and to know about some of these statistics, but we refuse to be a part of a statistic. We want to make a difference, and we can start now, and we can start with our children. I thank you, Isabel, for sharing the research report with us. Now we will. Thank you, Laura. Now we'll hear from Hoover Principal Amanda Williams.
Buenas noches, soy Amanda Arteaga, la directora de la Escuela Hoover. Estoy encantada de compartir nuestros logros en los últimos años. Acabo de regresar de la conferencia bilingüe en San Diego, en donde Hoover fue una de las 3 escuelas que recibió el sello de excelencia por nuestro programa bilingüe SEAL. Empezamos el proyecto SEAL hace 5 años y ahora somos el plantel de demostración a lo largo del estado y hemos tenido cientos de visitantes y educadores de todo el estado. Este programa ya está en 4 escuelas en el distrito y es posible que se expanda a 4 más el próximo año. Nuestros estudiantes han tenido tanto éxito. Los estudiantes en nuestro programa SEAL sobresalieron en los niveles altos, tanto en inglés como en español, en comparación a los estudiantes en programas bilingües, en programas de solo inglés en el estado de California. Debido a este éxito, en diciembre recibimos otro reconocimiento del Estado, el prestigioso premio Golden Bell, el cual fuimos el mejor de su división con respecto a la instrucción de los estándares comunes. No hubiéramos podido lograr este éxito sin nuestros increíbles maestros y sin la fundación de la familia Sobrado. Quiero agradecer a otras fundaciones locales que contribuyeron a nuestro éxito. Gracias a la Fundación TOSA, tenemos 4 especialistas de lectura que apoyan a aquellos estudiantes que presentan dificultad en lectura. Gracias a Facebook y Startup Education, tenemos el Internet más rápido y tenemos más tecnología, y cada 2 estudiantes tiene acceso a una computadora. También tenemos el centro familiar increíble y somos un modelo excelente para ser una escuela comunitaria. Debido a ese éxito, ganamos el premio Kent por la participación de nuestros padres y esta participación es más alta en el distrito, 97%. Es un modelo que ha apoyado la educación de toda la familia. Como pueden ver, ofrecemos la mejor educación para los estudiantes que viven en el norte de Fair Oaks y todos están bien preparados para la universidad y sus carreras. El futuro es brillante para nuestros estudiantes. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Principal. Now we're going to hear from Argelia Larios and Silvia Macias, who are mothers of students at the John Gill School here in Redwood City.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Argelia Larios, and I am the proud mother of 2 boys who attend John Gill at North Star Academy. I have lived in Redwood City for 15 years, and I have been many changes in the schools. The school was filled with many opportunities such as art and dance, and the academics were strong. When I later had my second child, I returned to John Gill expecting to find the same school as before, but instead, I was surprised and disappointed. Why? Because John Gill felt like a shadow of what it used to be? Of course. There were still some great things happening, but I saw too many struggling students, special programs in danger of going away in a scattered parent community. But this year, when Principal Rivera invited me to be on a team of teachers and parents to redesign the school, I learned about the possibilities of change. I go to visit other schools in Silicon Valley that are doing amazing things with students just like ours, and I have hope that John Gill can do the same and become a truly excellent school. I had very difficult decision of whether to move my son to the new Rockefeller School next year. The decision took me many months, but I finally decided that my son could not wait for an excellent education. Even though I have decided to move him to Rockefeller, I am still committed to helping John Gill become a great school. Our community has changed. We have many more Latino students than before, and some people say that's why the schools aren't doing well. Even I used to think that way, but I have since visited schools that don't use that as an excuse. They show that all children can be successful. For me, it's not about charter school or district schools. I am in favor of excellent academics for all students, period. My son and all our children deserve an education led by people who treat them as if they were their own children. Thank you.
Buenas noches, me llamo Silvia Macías y yo también soy madre de un hijo en la escuela John Gill y de 2 hijas mayores que ya van a graduarse de la universidad, orgullosamente de ellas estoy. Como dijo mi amiga Argelia, he notado grandes cambios en la calidad de nuestras escuelas en Redwood City durante la última década y es realmente triste para nuestros niños. Pero tengo fe que podemos mejorar. Yo personalmente he decidido quedarme en John Gill, en la lucha por un cambio positivo, pero a la misma vez entiendo y respeto la decisión de mi compañera de mover a su hijo a una nueva escuela. Mi intención es involucrarme en mi escuela y mi meta
Argelia and Silvia. And our final testimonies tonight will be from Casey Rowe and Kyle Schaefer. They're the principals of the New Redwood City Rocket Ship and KIPP schools. Casey?
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay, también voy a introducirme en español. Me llamo Casey Rose, soy el director del Rocket Ship escuela que viene a Redwood City. Tengo mi speech en inglés, pero voy a tratar de traducir también para que todos puedan comprender lo que estoy diciendo. So I am Casey Rowe. I am the principal of Rocket Ship's Redwood City campus, and I am humbled and honored to be here representing so many of our families this evening. At Rocket Ship, it is our mission to close the achievement gap within our lifetimes by hiring and developing master teachers who work side by side with families and communities to deliver on the promise of an excellent education for every child. As every educator and every parent in this room knows, this is lifelong work, and I'm so excited to tell you tonight that this work has already started. We may not have our own building yet, but our school is real. We've started onboarding excellent school leaders and teachers, holding family events and conducting home visits. We are and will be a transformational school with or without our own building because our students deserve nothing less. Estoy diciendo que en Rocket Ship tenemos una meta solamente y es eliminar el problema que existe ahora en nuestras escuelas, la diferencia entre el éxito de los estudiantes de familias de low income y los estudiantes que tienen más. No es justo y queremos resolverlo usando maestros muy buenas y también del partnership entre las familias y también los que trabajan en las escuelas. Y que en Rocket Ship no tenemos un edificio, vamos a compartir espacio con escuelas en Taft y también en Hoover, pero sí tenemos escuela. Hemos empezado el trabajo de escuela y vamos a tener éxito sin edificio o con edificio porque necesitamos hacerlo. Los estudiantes merecen eso. All that said, it does not mean that our own building is not important. When our families set out to bring new school options to Redwood City, they envisioned a building of their own, a home for the school for which they fought so hard, and our families and students deserve one. From my brief time at Redwood City and from each interaction I've had with our families, it's clear that a single campus will make it easier to invest deeply in our academic program, to engage families and the community, and to put down long-lasting roots in Redwood City. And if we're empowered to make a decision that improves outcomes for kids and for families, we are obligated to make it. We at Rocket Ship have done our part. We have blueprints and elevations for the new building. We have funding secured. We have a location. The only thing we need is permission to build. So tonight, in honor of and in solidarity with our families and the community, I'm asking you for your support in ensuring that construction on Rocket Ship's permanent home begins as soon as possible. So, un edificio sí es, no es necesario, pero sí es importante. Cuando las familias empezaron el discurso con el distrito, querían un edificio, su propio edificio, un hogar para su escuela. Y sí, los estudiantes y las familias aquí en Redwood City merecen un lugar para su escuela, su propia escuela. En Rocket Ship somos listos a empezar construcción, solo necesitamos el permiso de ciudad y también del condado, así que estamos aquí pidiendo que las personas aquí ayúdenos en empezar la construcción para que podamos tener un hogar para nuestra escuela. Gracias. Thank you.
Buenas noches, soy Kyle Sheffield, director de la escuela de KIPP, y esta noche voy a hablar en inglés y a causa del tiempo me han dicho que tengo que hablar en un idioma, entonces esta noche voy a hablar en inglés, pero si quieres hablar conmigo después, por favor habla conmigo en español. A few days ago, President Obama gave an inspiring speech in Selma, Alabama. In it, he said, the single most powerful word in our democracy is the word we. We the people, we shall overcome. Yes, we can. That word is owned by no one. It belongs to everyone. I borrow these words tonight to emphasize the we here in this room, and so that we remind ourselves that we have that same power in our community and our own lives. Specifically tonight and moving forward, we have the power to work together and keep children at the forefront of every conversation. And I say this piece about children at the forefront of every conversation because sadly, that does not always happen in our country. Too often, adult interests and opinions get in the way of what is best for kids and mute our kids' voices. Thankfully, we have parents who speak up for their children. And at KIPP, we listen to the community. KIPP started 20 years ago with just 50 kids and 2 teachers in 2 classrooms on a section of another school's campus. It was nothing more than a community of people, teachers, parents, and children that believe that all kids can and will learn. And now we have slowly grown over the past 20 years to serve almost 60,000 students across the country. In the Bay Area alone, we have 10 schools serving 3,000 students, and over 84% of our KIPP students go on to college, despite over 95% being low income. We know that there is no single program or thing that will magically result in student achievement, but that the future of our kids rests on a common belief among adults. Tonight we have a room full of people that just like the initial group of KIPP families that believe in what's best for all kids. KIPP Excellencia Community Prep is proud to be the 11th KIPP school in the Bay Area and to serve this community. We've already hired some incredibly talented teachers with a track record of success and cannot wait to work with such a powerful community. To Mayor G, Supervisor Slocum, Trustee Paulson, and Assistant Superintendent John Baker, thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you for working with us to allow choice for all families. With your continued support, the phrase, yes we can, quickly becomes, yes we will. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who shared testimony with us, and thank you as well to the rest of you for listening. We will now hear from our 3 elected officials on the panel. You will each have 2 minutes to share whatever you would like with us. Our timekeeper is in front. We'll put up a sign to remind you when your time has expired. We would like to start with the Redwood City Mayor, Jeffrey G.
Buenas tardes. Thank you for being here tonight and asking me to be part of your meeting. What I've shared with the parents is that we're very fortunate to live here in Redwood City and to be with a school district like the Redwood City School District. This is a district of choice between magnet schools, charter schools, neighborhood schools. They have created choices for our community. And with our school district, on behalf of our city council, we're a great partner with our school district. This is not a typical relationship between cities and school districts across the country or even across the state. Ours is very close, but we have supported our school district. I think it was in November I stopped by a school board meeting and I looked at we had supported our school district to the tune of about $17 million over the last 10 years with support for programs, literacy programs, facilities, and it's that close partnership that continues to be able to give our families and our children of our community the choices to be here, to learn and to grow. So I want to thank you for sharing your stories. I know I have several questions I get to answer later, but not only with the school district, but also with the supervisor and the board of supervisors, because our communities are so closely connected. All of us are working together to make sure we have a great community for all of our families and for our children. Thank you, Mayor G. I'm not sure, how many of you live in North Fair Oaks? How many of you live in Redwood City? There we go. Okay. So, as the mayor said, it's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation to be here. My name is Warren Slocum, and I am a county supervisor. And I just want you to know that when I was running for office, it was clear to me that people didn't understand what a county supervisor really did. They understand totally what a mayor does and what a city does,
but they would often say, well, what do you supervise? And let me just say a few words about that I think are worth sharing. That I represent the 4th District, which includes Redwood City, the unincorporated area of North Fair Oaks, which has about 20,000 residents or so, as well as East Menlo Park, the Bellhaven area, and East Palo Alto. Don't be holding that sign up so quickly. And I just want you all to know here tonight that the great majority of my time is spent on issues related to North Fair Oaks. And hopefully in the last couple of years, you've seen a difference here in terms of graffiti, massage parlors, trash on the streets. We've got a long way to go, but a lot of work has been done. I want you also to know that if you have questions, and I'm going to talk real fast now, and if you have questions later on, I'll be here for a few minutes, but Irving Torres, who's raising his hand back here along the wall, is one of the legislative aides in my office who works in North Fair Oaks. If you have any questions or concerns, please talk to Irving, and we'll try our best to address your concerns. Just one other quick little thing. You might know my wife more than you know me. My wife is Maria Diaz Slocum, grew up in North Fair Oaks. See, she needs to get an applause. She grew up in North Fair Oaks. She used to live right across the street from Sagona's Market. She started at the library in Redwood City when she was 16 years old, if you can believe that. And she's been at the Biblioteca Fair Oaks for a number of years. And let me just tell you that around our kitchen table, I never forget the needs of the kids, because she's also a school board member, and she grew up in the area. So let me just tell you, every night at dinner, I get a to-do list about the community. And it's really an honor, as the mayor said, to serve you all. It's an honor to be here. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share this time with you all.
Good evening, my name's Hillary. First, I want to apologize in advance. At the end of this meeting, I'm going to run as fast as I can to my own board meeting, so I may not have a chance to stay and talk with you, but I think some of our principals in the audience and anything you tell them comes to me. So I have 3 kids. They've all gone through the Redwood City schools. My youngest is a freshman at Sequoia High School. And I want to tell you a little story about how I got here as a board member. So I started off as a community volunteer, like many of the parents in the audience here tonight, and I called the city probably about 2 months after I moved to Redwood City, and I complained about graffiti on the slide in my local park. And they said, well, why don't you join the playground renovation committee? And I'm like, well, I can't complain if I'm not going to do anything about it. So I did. I joined the committee. And they said, well, why don't you join the Housing and Human Services Committee and learn about the organizations that help Redwood City? And I did. And then I was appointed to the Planning Commission, and I served on the Planning Commission with Mayor G. And I really enjoyed that time. And I volunteered with my kids, and I worked on the school district committee to get brand new playgrounds at all of our schools. And every time I volunteered and got more involved, I learned more about my city and the organizations and the people that bring it all together. So now it's my pleasure to work with the children and families in the Redwood City School District. And Laura, wherever you are, I can tell you I do believe in the students. And so I want you to look at the people in this room and know you're probably sitting next to someone who's going to be a mayor, or someone who's going to be a school board member, or go on to serve the community. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Trustee Olson. And now we will have Innovate Public Schools parent leaders ask some questions to our panelists. Remember that our guest received the final questions last week. Each guest will respond to the question in a clear yes or no answer, and will then have 2 minutes to elaborate further if they would like. So Rita Munoz will ask our first question to both Major G and Supervisor Slocum.
As we said, Redwood City is part of the economic boom. This is good, except that the needs is low-income residents should also be a priority of the city and county. In every boom, there are always people who get left out. Will you use your leadership to make sure that the needs of low-income residents are a priority for local government, including the big need for great schools that prepare low-income children to one day access the excellent job in this region?
I only have two choices. Yes, of course. I mean, we have to work together with the supervisor and the county. And as city council, we've been out here in the Fair Oaks community 4 times in the last several months. The mayor, I was here with the vice mayor of state of our city. In October, we had a city council meeting out here, a town hall meeting. And we've got 2 meetings out here dealing with the floods that happened in December. When I was first elected in 2009, I made it one of my agenda items, and the supervisor knows this, is to fix the flooding issue that has gone on for decades in the mobile home area. And we have a plan, we're moving, but that is a plan that takes a long time. Yes, we can, but it does take time, so we are working on that together. But we represent all of our communities, and I know this is a community that is in need, and I intend to continue that and be present out here, working on the different needs, and helping fix the problems that are out here that affect the families and the children in our community. Thank you, Mayor. Yes.
Thank you. You know, as I said earlier, my staff and I spend the great majority of our time on issues related to North Fair Oaks, to this community. And there's not a day that goes by that we don't talk to constituents, that we're not working with the planning department or the public works department. And as the mayor said, we've been working for some time on this flooding issue because this area, frankly, has been neglected for quite some time. And I know one of his commitments is to deal with this flooding, and we've spent a great deal of time and energy and money addressing that issue. But also, I think there are other major priorities as children and families and youth. And the library, of course.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you to both of you for your answers. Now we'll have Claudia Faro ask our second question to Mayor G. only.
Our vision is to see Redwood City be that place where great schools are encouraged to be part of the community. For years, we have lived in a mixed-use areas where small businesses are side by side with schools and other organizations. We are worried about the Redwood City proposal for school to be prohibited from the industrial incubator area of the Redwood City. And we appreciate the Planning Commission recommendation and vision to not prohibit schools. Will you support the recommendation from the Redwood City Planning Commission that school should not be prohibited on the area?
Thank you. I guess I get to pick 2. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm pleased to share with the families that are here today and everyone else that staff is no longer bringing up recommendations forward to prohibit schools in the light incubator area. So
thank you.
That is all gone away.
I know you didn't ask me the question, but there is somebody here from the county planning office. I think she's still here, Lisa, right over there. And the same question could be asked of the county, because we're going through a rezoning process of Middlefield and obviously the road redesign and all that. And the answer is, we have no plans to zone out schools.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for your answers, Mayor. And now we'll have Maritza Leal ask our third question, which is both for Mayor and Supervisor.
Rockaship families and students are waiting for their school to be built at 816 Charter Street. Being split between 2 campuses is not ideal for anyone, and families hope to move as soon as possible. Will you use your leadership as mayor and as supervisor to see that the city and county governments work together to ensure that Rockaship School receive a fair and timely review of their project so that it can be built for the students as soon as possible?
Yes. As I shared with some of the parents, I'm a very unusual elected official in the sense that my regular job is designing and managing school construction. So I have a little knowledge about this, as well as 30 years of doing EIRs. The county and the city work very closely together on a number of different things, and particularly on this project. The process is moving forward. I know that as we go through the California Environmental Quality Act process at EIR, there are at least two major issues: parking and traffic. And an updated traffic study was submitted to the city, what's today, the 11th, yesterday. So we just got an updated traffic study to the planning department yesterday. The staff should complete their analysis. Let me see here by the calendar. Let's see, staff should complete by early April, should go to the Planning Commission for consideration in May or June, and we're working very closely with the county on their timeline. The thing that I've cautioned everyone, and the way I caution your architect, is that EIRs are required by state law, number one, and that my experience with EIRs, they are risk management documents, because people can sue if they don't like what is going on. And the better the EIR is, the less chance someone's going to win with a lawsuit. You've seen all the activity going on downtown. That was delayed by 4 years by one person filing a lawsuit. We don't want that to happen. That's why we're taking the time to make sure it's done right the first time, because a second time is going to delay it when your school opens. So we want to do it right. Yes.
But let me also just add a quick little bit of information that, and Lisa from the planning department can verify this. And, you know, I don't think there's a day that goes by that we don't talk with or send email to the planning department on issues related to North Fair Oaks. And the school site is no different. Part of the work has to be done by the environmental health department at the county. And our responsibility, I guess, is the parking lot. It's sort of unusual that the property line splits the parking lot and the building between the county and the city. That's unusual. But as the mayor said, we are working together. And you don't want a lawsuit, and you want things done correctly. And just know that Irving and I and the rest of the staff in District 4 do try to keep on top of things and actually bug every day the planning department on at least one issue or another, and this one is no different for us.
Thank you for the answers. Are we liking the answers? Who's excited tonight? Why are you guys falling asleep? I'm right awake. Are we awake still up there? Wave if you're still awake. Yeah, that's good. I'm not the only one awake. Good. Now we're going to have Maritza once again to ask a question to Mayor G and Supervisor Slocum once again.
This is another question. As you know, most of the students enrolled in KIPP live in North Fair Oaks community and the Flatlands. Many families to get their children to school without public transportation. Will you use your leadership to work with Samtrans and KIPP to find a solution to accommodate students needing increased frequency of existing bus routes to Kennedy Middle School? I'm done.
Yes.
Thank you.
But it's the key word in that question was existing. I am a director on the Samtrans board, and there is a federal law that says public transit districts like Samtrans is not allowed to provide school transportation. That's a federal law. However, if a school is located on a bus route, like we were talking about, I believe it's, I think 278 or something like that, we can work together to increase the frequency at the beginning of the day and afterwards, but we cannot go out of our way and create new bus routes just for schools and students only. And that's just the federal law that was passed back in Washington, D.C. Yes. The other day, some folks from Innovate Public Schools came to call on me. Yeah. And I do get a lot of emails also, by the way. But we did talk about this transportation, and obviously these temporary situations aren't good for the kids. They're not good for families, and having to go across town is not good for anybody. And you know, that is a priority, I think, for all of us here. And actually, when Innovate left the other day, the conversation with an official at Samtrans, who will just go nameless for tonight, actually started. And the mayor is absolutely right on about the federal law. But we might be able, with his help, because he does sit on the board of directors, to get some study done on the bus times, all that sort of thing. So, yes.
Thank you. Yes. I don't know if you as a parent are excited tonight, but me as a parent, I'm so excited tonight. I don't know if we can just stand and give a round of applause to these exceptional leaders that we've had. Supervisor Slocum, we thank them so much for their leadership. We thank you for the job that they do. We thank you for looking out. And we thank you for allowing us, this community, to have a voice. Tenemos una voz, y ese es el lugar en donde nosotros podemos expresar nuestra voz. So we thank you so much for that. You may be seated as we move along in our agenda. Almost it's time to wrap it up, but we want to also ask Gudelia Ornelas. She's going to ask a question of to the Redwood City School District Trustee Hillary Polson.
The Redwood City School District has been embracing reform and trying some exciting innovations in the schools. We are counting on the district continue using the leaderships to make significant advance in our schools, particularly in the highest need schools, so that all students have the opportunity to attend and graduate from college. We are also very glad to hear that the district engaging in a transparent process to select the next superintendent and will listen to the community's feedback. Trustee Polson, please tell about your vision for the new superintendent and for our district moving forward. How do you see the school board taking into account the needs of the entire community, particularly low-income and English learning students?
So I feel like I should get to say yes. But I'm going to break it down into two parts. First about the superintendent, and then we'll talk a little bit about the vision. So regarding the superintendent, as a locally elected school board member, it's my job to listen to the community and make sure that the district's vision is the community's vision. So right now we're in the process of listening to our community to find out what their vision is for the next superintendent. So over the course of the next few weeks, all community members, staff, parents, teachers can take a survey to help us understand the qualities they want in a superintendent. So that's going to be online by Friday. Yes, I'm getting a yes. See, I can say that. So we're also holding 2 town hall meetings, and they're next week. The first is Tuesday, March 17th. That's at the Kennedy Middle School Library. And the second one is Thursday, March 19th at Garfield School. I believe the Kennedy meeting will be in English with Spanish translation, and the Garfield meeting will be in Spanish with English translation. So I want to let you know I've also received numerous emails and letters from parents and teachers and community members telling me the qualities they believe are important. So I really appreciate that. So I want to let you know you are always welcome to email me. You can drop a letter off at the district office. It can be in English or Spanish, and they get it to all the board members. or you can call the assistant to the superintendent. Her name is Eliana Garcia, and you can leave any comments you have with her, and then she types them up and she emails them out to all of the board members. So in talking about the vision that the RCSD board has and the new superintendent would have, so our vision is to provide all RCSD students, regardless of their background or where they live in the community or their home language, an innovative and academically rigorous education. We have highly trained teachers that are certified, and we also want to continue to support the students' emotional and physical needs. Our schools will continue to be locally controlled and locally governed and tailored to the unique needs of each community and neighborhood. So some of the things we're going to continue to work on with parents is the request for new programs. Tonight, probably right about now, it's 8:15, they're talking about the new program at Fair Oaks, which is a 6th through 8th grade program, and the parents are presenting that to the school board tonight. We've also put forward, and it's in motion at Taft in 6th grade. Roosevelt just graduated their first 8th grade class last year. We've had requests for expansion of our Spanish immersion programs, and at John Gill School, we'll be starting our Chinese immersion program in the fall, so that was very exciting. So I think all of you know that the world around us, especially here in the Silicon Valley, is changing rapidly. So our schools are changing rapidly to make sure that all of our students from all backgrounds succeed. So we received generous donations of over $1 million from our partners at Google and at Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg's foundation, which is called Startup Education, for technology and training of the teachers and the students, so they can use this to make sure that our students are college ready. So, and the first schools to receive that were Taft and Hoover, so it was great. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Paulson, for your vision, for telling about your vision, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you each one was there, and thank you everybody to coming here.
Thank you, Trustee Paulson. We have now arrived to our final question, which Erica Alleman will ask to all three of the panelists.
Will you continue to meet with the family of Innovate Public School in the future? Will you report back your colleagues about what you witnessed here this evening, including the testimony and commitment you heard?
Let me show my colleagues right now.
Sorry, Mary, I already beat you because I tweeted. I did get the picture. Yes.
So the answer is yes. I've taken lots of notes, and hopefully I'll get back in time to actually report on this at tonight's meeting. So as I said before, always feel free to call us. Every board member is happy to talk to parents and community members and get together with them. Or send us a note or an email, because it does get distributed to all of us. But I will say, if you for some reason don't hear back from us, some things do go into the spam folder with the district's email. So try again, make a phone call to the district office. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Major G, Supervisor Slocum, and Trustee Paulson, for your thoughtful answers to our community's question. Now that we have heard the responses, we want to give our audience the opportunity to participate. So I would ask everybody to please stand, and I want you to take your cell phone out. Now everybody's not gonna do, we're not gonna tweet or we're gonna do Instagram or anything like that. But everybody can please stand and take out your cell phones. I think everybody has a smartphone in some way. Android, Apple, Samsung. So everybody has, you know what, everybody take a picture. No, that's not what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna ask you to take out a picture, but thank you. A selfie, everybody, let's take a selfie. Please post it on the Facebook Innovate Public School page. Now, I want you to hold out your cell phones. And I want you to help us. If you got an agenda on your way in, I want you to help us as we follow along. And what we're going to do, we're going to follow the directions listed on our agenda paper. And it's a take action box. And I will explain to you what we're going to do. Pueden seguir las direcciones escrito en tu papel de la agenda, en tu sección donde dice tome acción. Y yo también voy a explicar qué van a hacer ahora. Not all of our elected officials could come tonight. We're so sad because a lot of them weren't able to be here tonight, but we're so glad that the ones that were here were able to represent in such an awesome way the way that they did. And we are sending this simple message to all of them. No todos nuestros funcionarios pudieron estar aquí en esta noche presentes, pero les vamos a mandar este mensaje sencillo a todos. Él dice, Dear Redwood City Council and San Mateo County Supervisors, we are excited about the 2 new public school options coming to our community. We ask the city and the county to work together in partnership with local families so the new KIPP and Rocketship schools have the facilities and the transportation that they need to open as soon as possible. El mensaje dice, estimados funcionarios de Redwood City y el condado de San Mateo, estamos muy entusiasmados con las 2 nuevas opciones de escuelas públicas que vienen a nuestra comunidad de Redwood City. Pedimos a la comunidad y al condado para trabajar juntos en colaboración con las familias locales para que las nuevas escuelas KIPP y Rocketship cuenten con las instalaciones y el transporte que necesitan para abrir lo antes posible. So if you would like to participate, and I know that everyone that's here tonight would love to participate, what you're going to do is you're going to text the word change. Lo que vamos a hacer es que usted va, para participar con nosotros, va a escribir en su pantalla o va a hacer, o como dice, textear la palabra cambio, change, C-H-A-N-G-E, change, y lo va a textear al número en pantalla 408-457-0275. Mande un mensaje de texto con la palabra cambio, change, al 408-457-0275. After that, you will receive a response. Hey, we're going to receive a response. And thanks for participating. So it will say, thanks for signing on. Tell your friends you are here by clicking join and write a message on the wall. So what you're going to do is after you receive that message back, you're going to write your name. So tan pronto usted reciba ese mensaje, cuando textee la palabra cambio al número 408, ¿cuál es? 457-0275. Y cuando usted reciba, va a escribir su nombre y de esa manera usted va a participar, dejándole saber a los oficiales de la comunidad que estuvimos presentes aquí y que nuestra voz se hizo escuchar. Aren't you excited about that? Did everybody was able to do that? Okay, let's go, everybody. Everybody do it? That was quick. So después vas a recibir un link y puedes hacer clic para agregarlo a un mensaje personal en la pared de Facebook. So if you have Facebook, please include it. Let them know that you were here with us tonight.
Thank you so much for being involved with us. It's really, really appreciated and motivating to see you guys that you're really involved. Is anybody still doing it? ¿Aún lo están haciendo? If you have any questions, just raise your hand and one of my You guys have any questions? You're good? Good. You might be seated. Pueden sentarse. Gracias. Tonight has been a very exciting, and we have heard from many people and focused on various issues. From the immediate need for facilities and transportation for our 2 new charter schools, to the longer-term need for the low-income and Latino community of Redwood City and San Mateo County to be considered in the political decisions made moving forward. We applaud everyone here for being brave enough to think about and work on some very complex topics.
And we will be following up with you after tonight's meeting. So if you would like to stay along and meet with some of the city officials or meet with some of our leadership in Innovate Public Schools, we'll be more than happy to stick around and say hi to you or answer any of your concerns or your questions. We ask as you go back to your respective organizations and report to them on what happened here tonight. It was a great victory tonight and we're all excited about it. We will also send you a letter detailing what we heard you say and commit to tonight, and we know that this is a first step, an important one, but it's a first step, and we thank you for that, and we plan to continue to do our part, and we want you to do yours. And to all the families who came tonight, we want to congratulate you, we want to thank you. While many of you may not have had the chance to get a higher education yourselves, the fact that you're here tonight shows your commitment to your children's educational journey. So we will hear from Maritza as we close up our meeting for tonight. And again, thank you parents for being here. And we just appreciate you taking out of your time. We know it's a busy day of the week, but you being here just shows how much you appreciate education and how important and the voice that we have in our community. Thank you.
1 year ago, we held our first community action meeting. It was March 18. Maybe one of you remember. It was a great day, just like today. The audience participated in the following pledge, a pledge similar to the one that same of us took when we were finally accepted into this country. We are going to take the pledge again so we can reflect and recommit to the same things, because our work is not over. Por favor, pónganse de pie. Vamos a hacer please stand up. Ponga su mano derecha en el pecho si usted lo desea. Y repita conmigo. Este país que es tan hermoso y maravilloso, que a pesar de todas las circunstancias, nos ha abierto sus brazos con hospitalidad. Nosotros, los padres de Redwood City, queremos agradecer a esta gran nación por estar formando a nuestros hijos a que sean buenos ciudadanos y un ejemplo a nuestra comunidad y a cualquier lugar que ellos vayan. Nos comprometemos a hacer todo lo posible por sembrar en los corazones de nuestros niños valores morales fuertes para que sean gente de cambio, gente de compromiso y de amor a su prójimo. Pero este trabajo no lo podemos hacer solos. Necesitamos escuelas excelentes que ayuden a nuestros niños en lo académico. Necesitamos un gobierno de la ciudad y un gobierno del condado que piensen en toda la comunidad y que hagan todo lo posible para proteger los intereses de las personas, no solo el de las compañías. Necesitamos organizaciones comunitarias, iglesias apoyando a la comunidad. Juntos, todos podemos completar la personalidad de nuestra futura generación. Es por eso que nosotros, los padres de Redwood City, levantamos la mano y alzamos la voz diciendo: queremos ayudar, podemos ayudar, trabajamos juntos para una mejor ciudad. Dios bendiga Redwood City. Dios bendiga América. Y Dios bendiga a todos ustedes que asistieron en esta noche. Muchísimas gracias por venir.
And this is our meeting. We thank you again for taking of your time to be here. We thank our city officials again. We thank all the leadership, Innovate Public Schools, KIPP Schools, Rocket Ship. Thank you so much for being here, and stay along if you would like to say hi to any of them or ask any questions. Again, we want to thank you. Queremos darle las gracias por haber estado compartiendo con nosotros hoy. Le agradecemos su tiempo. Si le gusta quedar y platicar o hacer una pregunta con los KIPP, con los Rocket Ship, Innovate Public Schools, estamos a su disposición para ayudarles y lo que estemos a nuestro